Welcome. Let's take a look at the actual CompTIA IT Fundamentals preparation information. This is it, CompTIA. So again, these are two separate tests, two totally separate tests, and we're going to look at the differences in them. Now, I want to show you that it's got the exam objectives here, just like the other one. It's got where that can be found in this material. And then it's got how to take it. So I'll always have questions of people saying, okay, so how do I actually get this information? So I've got a video that will show you how to get a voucher, but basically here's your information on what you're going to have to do to actually schedule an exam. Right? You're going to be using Pearson VUE to do that, to actually schedule it. CompTIA doesn't do their own testing. They contract that through Pearson VUE. Pearson is a big textbook maker, and they do all sorts of tests. They do bug tests, they do medical tests. I don't mean like testing your blood, I mean to be certified. So CompTIA uses Pearson VUE for that. They tell you, hey, test out 10% off online marketplace. I would try to put that in, test out 2020. I would try to put that in, but I'm going to, in the other video that shows you where to get a voucher, you may be able to use it or not. I'll try it and we'll see, but I'm not sure. We have basically an agreement with CompTIA, so you get a discount on this test when you go and buy it. And you get that voucher, and then you can take it right here at EAC's testing center. But that scheduling of that test is done through Pearson VUE. You guys are good with computers, so I expect you to be able to go to Pearson VUE and start to figure that out. All right, so they give you some hints and tips before the exam, using a scratch tab, retaking. Hopefully you don't have to do that. And then here's the review. So notice this says 20 question review, 20 question review. 20 questions, 20 questions. And I'm going to stop there. 20 questions. This is all questions. This is what you want to come to. The 20 question review can be helpful in a very short period of time, but thankfully they actually save where you're at these days when you go through questions, but it's randomizing what they're going to do. So if you were going to do a 20 question review, you'd have to do it 3 or 4 times in order to get different questions enough to be prepped for the actual real exam. So here, I'm going to show you domain 1. It's got 89 questions. In other words, we're going to give you all the questions for domain 1, and you get it done. And again, just like in the other video, I talked about using this to train. That's what you're doing. So if I hit start exam on this, how I would use it to learn, to train myself, is go, okay, which of the following is correct binary representation at 22? Let's mark that one. Check answer. Hey, holy crap, I didn't even read what it was. Somehow my brain knew that. My brain thinks in decimal and binary at the same time. Anyway, I guessed right. And that would be part of the thing. Well, I guessed, I really didn't know. And so then they give you an explanation of what it means, and you want to focus on that. I tell people all the time, as you're going through these large questions, you're going to do this in networking too. The ones you really don't know, be honest with yourself, even if you guessed it right, look at the definition and say, do I understand why that's the answer? And if I don't, I need to go and look it up. I need to go and figure it out. Now, this one, marked question for review, is for you when you get to the end of it. If you weren't sure about those questions, they'll show up as marked. Oh, whoops, I don't want to do that. So there we are, and my picture here needs to be moved. There we go. Let's jump ahead out of the binaries to me kind of silly. There we are. Which of the following Unicode character encoding standards is most commonly used for building web pages? I believe that's UTF-8. Is he right? He is right. But then see, it actually explains it. This is a much better explanation than we got on the binary. And you would read that and go, well, I kind of guessed So UTF 16 often used for internal systems like Microsoft Windows. 32 is a way to encode binary data such as images and sound. Okay, so UTF 32, images and sound. 64, embedded binary for HTML, CSS, okay, and other text documents. So that's another way to do that, but the most common way is 8, right? I'm trying to learn that information because I don't really know it. Then the next time you go through this test, I'll hit save. You can save where you're at. Next time you go through this test, that'll be much clearer for you. So it'll take you a long time to go through any of these tests when you first start it, when you first go through it, because you're learning the information. The next time you go through it, you go, oh yeah, I learned that, so here's the answer to that. That's how taking these kinds of tests for study purpose really, really helps you in certifications, because you spend a little to no time on stuff you already know, and you spend more time on stuff you don't. So you go through this, keep going through it. Oh, let me go back. Sorry, we were on. So notice domain 2, 214 questions. Domain 3, 118 questions. 71 questions, 69 questions, 143 questions, and then this final practice exam. So back to this list so we can look at where we're at. Yeah, it's a lot of questions. And for most of you, you haven't really done anything like this in your life. And that's why the IT fundamentals from CompTIA is important to you now. Not only is it showing somebody that you've got these fundamental skills and knowledge, but it's also kind of a prep for you for greater things. The Network Plus exam has most, well, if I just say it out of my head, Network Plus has got 800 to 1,000 questions to study. And this is usually the time I'm like, what are you going after here? Are you really going to go into this business and make money, the kind of money that we've been talking about at the end of this class and in 100? Are you going to make that kind of money? Well, tell you the truth, you don't value certifications and don't get those. No, you're not going to make that money. People that are certified are more marketable, meaning they're worth more to an employer. And so if you don't get it, that doesn't mean you won't get a job. You will get a job, but the chances of you getting a job where you're going to be paid as well as somebody who's certified is really low. And so this is, to me, this class is at the end prepping you for all the other things that you want to do. If you are going into cybersecurity, right, there's not going to be as many questions to study over, but they expect you to know what you know. So you got to get your brain in that mode. And I would like everybody to get CompTIA IT fundamentals prepped. So again, I'm giving you the option. What's the best? Get them both. This one's free to you. It's going to take time to study for this. It's going to take time to study for this. If you've kept up with the course, then you have the time to do it. And you will thank yourself for going through that process and getting both of those. If you're saying, well, I'm really interested in being industry certified, something that if they saw it on my resume, they'd go, oh yeah, we know what that is, then don't spend your time here on Fundamentals Pro, spend it here on CompTIA's IT Fundamentals Plus stuff. Now, I can't set up that exam and then basically take a score from that exam. We're not set up that way. So your final for this particular information would be this last thing on the list. So here you can go through this practice exam and prep yourself on the pro, because I can assign the actual certification test. Here I can't assign that. And so this will be your actual final score. And then that way you're studying through all that information, you're getting all that in your head, you're spending the time to do that. And then right here, here's your final. 75 questions, and no, 95 is not the passing score. A 70 is a passing score. But if you got a 95, you know, oh man, I can just go schedule this. I'm going to go get this right now. I'm going to go out and get my voucher, and I'm going to schedule this right over here at EAC, and I'm going to go take this for real, right? So this will be your final if you are prepping for and plan to take the CompTIA IT fundamentals. You'll take one or the other. And I'll pull up the information. I can pull up the information on this or the other one and see what your score was and how that plays out for you. So just to recap, as far as your score goes, put this, actually, I'll put that in another video. That way you can go straight to it. So to recap on the IT fundamentals, use all these massive domains to prep. It's going to take time. Yep, it's going to take time. And then use this as the final. That will be your final. All right.